Welcome into the Hustle Show podcast, national championship game, Kansas Jayhawks, UNC Tar Heels. I am Drew Martin, and like always, joined by Kelly Stewart, CT Bets, Adam Trigger. We're breaking the games down, going around the horn. Welcome on in, Kelly Stewart, at Kelly in Vegas on Twitter. How you feeling, Kelly?
Oh, Drew, it's been a long day. I think I've done most WagerTalk shows, did money shots earlier with Megan. I am just ready for college basketball season to be over. I feel so dirty. I don't even want to watch this game. I think I'm just going to have like 3 Vivas and go to bed instead.
Hey, not a bad plan B. Maybe just watch the first half, cash a ticket, something of that nature. I'm going to bet you watch the whole game, though. Betting the whole game. We got CT Bet 16 on Twitter.
I don't know.
Thurston,
maybe that's what I do. Just like the Houston game. Maybe I just never turn it on and we all cash a team ticket. Maybe that's going to be the play. I like that play way better, actually.
It's like betting an under. You just sometimes you don't have to watch it. Just if it cashes in your bank, it works in the sports book. CT Bets, welcome in, buddy.
Drew Martin Betts, good to be here. Our last show of season 1. It's been a hell of a ride, and hopefully we can finish it off strong. I'm with Kelly. I am ready for college hoops to be over, and I am ready for the break that her and I go on. I'll dabble in a little bit of NBA, but for the most part, CT Bets is going to be relaxing for the next few months until we start getting ready for football. Really looking forward to that.
Fair enough. Selling some Viva, maybe cashing some tickets in baseball, NBA, something of that nature. But a guy that is not taking a break, going all the way across the world for opening day in Korea, KBO. Check it out at WagerTalk.com and MLB. That's Adam Trigger. Welcome in, man.
Thanks, Drew. Yeah, I'm so excited for baseball season. Finally, the MLB will start this week. Should have already been started last week, but Korea's, going with the baseball, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I was like ready for hoop season to be over 2 weeks ago, and now I don't want it to end because these last 2 weeks have been great. So we'll see if we can get one more tonight, but it will be nice to put that in the rear view and move forward now.
Absolutely, man. Excited to get some of those KBO picks from you. It's nice to wake up with a nice winner in your account. And guys, reminder before we get to the game, we are brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer. Viva Tequila Seltzer, refreshing and drinkable hard seltzer. 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 4.5% ABV. Viva, the perfect drink for your post-game, pre-game celebrations. I'll tell you this, guys. I was at a spring training game, Cardinals and Nationals. Interesting side note, they were both wearing red. It was kind of hard, like when players were on base. I don't know if that's like a spring training thing. That's something I took away from it. Nice field there, Roger Dean Stadium. There was a competitor of Viva. It had 2 grams of sugar, and CT Bets, it wasn't as good. I'd take a Viva all day long. But it does remind me, I do like Viva, the tequila seltzer brands. It's very refreshing, especially on a hot day, guys. So that's just kind of personal note there from today. I only had one, so I think I'm good to do the show here. I had to drive all the way back. But reminder, vivatequilaseltzer.com. Use the promo code HUSTLE at checkout. It takes 10% off, guys, and it ships to your house. Ready to rock. They are really good. We're simulcast live on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. If you're watching on replay, feel free to reply below. And huge shout out to the chat box. Everybody joining us live, all the VIPs here. Last show for college basketball season 1. We definitely will be back. Enjoy everybody chiming in with us here. So we got North Carolina, Kansas tipping off 9:20 Eastern. Good little late night tip off here in the Big Easy, New Orleans, Louisiana. -4, 152 being the total. Before we break down the game, guys, we got transparency being key of the hustle. We win some, we lose some, and that's Trig's segment here. Trig with the recap. Throw it over to you.
So, Drew, I've been on Wager Talk shows all day, too, so I didn't rewatch Saturday's show like I usually do, but there was only 2 games, so I think I've got it up here. I know CT had a great night. He gave out best bets in Kansas, which won, and the over in North Carolina Duke, which also got there. My best bet was Kansas -4. I know, Drew, you had North Carolina. I think you said money line was good as well, and that gets there. And I think Kel had the under, which obviously didn't hit in that game, but she gave out, I think the unders were crushing up until Saturday. So all in all, a pretty good show. And we'll try to send you off one more time with some winners in the national championship game.
So let's get after it. CT Bet 16, you mind starting us off here? We got the national championship game. We got game breakdown. I mean, we got best bets at the end, but any kind of bets out there that you like that might not be your best bet for tonight's national championship game?
Yeah, there's one, Drew, and I literally just bet it right before we went live here. And I was talking to our good friend and producer Joe Ranieri and Wager Talk host. He likes it as well, and that is a prop bet. Drew Martin bets the largest lead in the game. I like the under 13 and a half points, betting that no team, either North Carolina or Kansas, will be up by more than 13 and a half points. I like this to be a close game. Drew Martin bets. I think both teams, we all know, can score. I think it's going to be a very fast-paced game. And I really don't see one of these two teams really opening it up. Maybe, I don't know, double digits. I just think that's high. 13 and a half. I locked in the under on that one, Drew Martin bets. That's one of the props that I've played here. And then we'll get to best bets at the end. But was curious to see what you guys thought of that prop.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I mean, first off, it's not one that I bet a lot, so I'm kind of just trying to digest it right now, if I like it or if I don't like it. Hopefully one team doesn't go on a run. I don't even really know where to begin the handicapping process.
I think both of these teams can go on runs, and that's what makes it so scary, is we've seen KU be down big at half against Miami and then go on a monster run. We've seen North Carolina go on a second half run. KU goes on second half runs all season long. I think that's absolutely and utterly terrifying. But you're right, CT. Kind of goes against what I think your best bet's going to be, though. And that's why I have to say, I hope you cash it. I hope the largest lead is like 12. That way you can cash that under 13 and a half, because I hope for the opposite. I hope it is just an easy blowout and I don't even have to turn my TV on.
Well, Kel, I think it's kind of like, I agree with you. I'm going to be a lot happier if, the team in particular that I talk about at the end does blow them out. So I kind of saw it. I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is kind of like a mini hedge here to see if somebody, if the game is close, maybe I cash that one, and hopefully the team that I bet covers late. So we'll see on that one. There's just one game, so it's hard to make some plays here. Didn't know if you guys were looking at any other props or total or side or whatnot.
So I do have a bet on the side, and this is kind of my hedge, if you will, but not, because it's correlated. I took under 15 and a half threes. If you guys remember, I had the under on Saturday, and it got obliterated in the first half. KU knocked down a bazillion threes. Villanova tried to do their part as well, even though that didn't really matter. KU was just on fire from three-point land, and I think that correlation's built into this one. Juice towards the over minus 120 for a reason. I'm going to take the under 15 and a half threes, even money. And that is because I do like the under tonight. But we all know I work at Barstool Sportsbook. And the last time I took the under against the Overs Club, I got a lot of shit for it. And I felt really bad because obviously we're running promotions and doing this whole thing. And I think that the over actually hit. So I got even more grief from our fan base for it. So instead of betting the under, I'm going to bet the under 15 and a half threes and hope that these defenses that are traditionally good three-point defenses keep each other at bay.
I like that one, Kelly, because it seemed like they were just on fire in the Final Four from three. And I don't necessarily think the
Both
under
teams.
was – yeah. I mean,
I
was on the under
teams,
too.
Excuse me.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they're going to keep that up from three, but I don't know. Maybe it's something – they like the shooting angles, the sight lines behind. Maybe it's something weird like that. I don't know. But I tend to think the under's the play too. Trig, what are you thinking of that bet that CT Bets made?
Well, Drew, I'll tell you what. I'm on Kansas, and I just know how things work for me. I got easy win with Kansas against Miami, easy win with Kansas against Villanova. I feel like I'm going to have to work for this one a little bit harder than I did in those two. So, yeah, Kansas probably won't go up by 1 million because I have a feeling I'm going to have to grind out this -4, and hopefully Kansas doesn't go down by 13 because then we might be in trouble. As far as the sight lines are concerned, I've heard the players like the setup. It seems to me like the sort of the cavernous areas on the side, the way they have it set up. So behind the hoop is not like they're not like looking into the abyss behind the hoop so much. So I mean, if you go back to Saturday's games, it looked like everything was going in. My main concern with Kansas, like after the game, I texted Chris and I was like, damn, like I don't know if Kansas could play better than they played. I mean, they made everything They played as good as they could have, but so did North Carolina, really. I mean, they hit everything as well. Kind of makes me feel like the under's in play only because I think it's hard to believe that they both just hit every shot again tonight. So that makes me like, Kelly's angle on the potentially the under threes, because we didn't see Kansas just light it up from three all year. And so that would be my take on the total. I tweeted it out. I'm looking at Kansas. We can talk about it more in the show. But those are just from a prop angle. I think I'd be looking to play some props under. I feel like everything's going to be juiced to the over. So I'd look under basically anything, kind of like a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm looking at those right now. Sorry, Drew. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, it feels like a Super Bowl. Like, if you need to bet it, maybe the sharp play is on these unders because more people like betting the overs than the unders. So therein lies the value. But take it over, KIV.
No, I was going to say, so you have to kind of wonder, too, in terms of health for North Carolina, obviously, one of their best players, Bacot, went down last game. Yes, he did come back in, but I haven't heard really any great inside information. If anybody, in the chat has anything great, let us know. Send it out on Twitter. Megan was in the elevator with his mother today and failed to ask. She and I are fighting about this, by the way. Failed to ask how his ankle was. I mean, excuse me. First of all, you were really hungover. I understand. But you still had the wherewithal to realize that was his mother. Because I can tell you this right now. I wouldn't have known it was his mom. And I would have been like, hey, how's your son doing? Oh, he's great. He's so pumped for tonight. Yay. Hey, go Tar Heels. Some BS thing you say to moms. I don't know. But at least find out. Like, yeah, he was on crutches still this morning. They've been icing it. Something. Get me some free information. But I was looking at his prop bet. I do think that a lot of people are assuming he's 100%. There's a couple of different books out there that have it, but I was trying to find the current odds as of right now as to what his point total was, and I was considering betting that one under as well. But I would love to know from any of you guys out there if you've heard anything and seen anything in regards to if he's healthy or not.
I'll jump in here, Cal. There's no way he's 100%, in my opinion. Like, you can come in and play, like, adrenaline can get you through the last 5 minutes of that game. I'd imagine, like, he heard it and he was probably so jacked up playing in the Final Four that he maybe didn't even feel it when he got back out in the court. But 2 days later, I don't know if any of you have ever, like, done up your ankle, but I had ankle issues my entire soccer career. And every time I heard it, a couple days later, it was always a problem. I'm sorry, like, it's still going to be an issue. He's going to play, but there's no way that it's just fine 2 days later, especially after he came out and said, like, man, like, I thought I was done at that point. And then he got back out there and toughed it out.
I thought he was done. That's why I tweeted it. I needed the reverse jinx. Right. I needed that reverse jinx so bad because we were all on, Drew Martin Betts and I were on North Carolina money line. And thank you, Drew, for pushing me on that. Armando Bacot, 13.5 rebounds, 14.5 points. If anybody's interested, just found that. I would like to bet both unders, but I feel like I need to look and actually handicap it instead of just guesstimating that he's going to be not 100%.
We do have.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, go ahead, Trig.
I just want to finish. The one thing I want to finish is if he's not 100%, Puff Williams or whoever the guy is behind him will get eaten alive by McCormick and Puff Johnson. Sorry, yeah.
Cam Johnson's younger brother.
He will get destroyed by McCormick or basically anyone. Like, he's not going to guard anyone on Kansas's interior. He's just not capable of doing that. So if Bacot goes down or he's not his usual effective self, I see that being a big issue for North Carolina. Like, it's as big of a deal as you could possibly imagine, in my opinion.
Jalen Wilson, 12.5 points, 9.5 rebounds, just for anybody following along. I think that's a really interesting point as well, Trig.
Trig, I'm with you on that, and I actually think this game is going to be won coming down to that big man matchup between Bacot and McCormick. And I think that if Self can somehow get Bacot into some foul trouble, they're going to be in for a very long night because they only like playing that starting five. And if Puff Johnson has to come in, McCormick is going to take him to town. We saw McCormick play the best game of probably his career on Saturday, 25 points, 9 boards. And if Bacot's either not 100%, which I don't think he is, or in foul trouble, UNC could be in for a long night versus McCormick.
Remind me, because it was such a crazy game with North Carolina down there at the end. Baycott was in foul trouble. Did he end up fouling out of that game?
He fouled out.
I think he did, right? Yeah.
Yep.
It's interesting because there's a bunch of props up. You can bet on like how many people will foul out this game. 1.5 over under. I think those are kind of fun.
Do you think the refs are going to swallow their whistles, Drew Martin bets? Because that's my only concern. I feel like they don't all tournaments. It's like foul, and then we get to the national championship game. You guys remember last year I had the under, and I thought I was dead in the water. But the refs swallowed their whistles the last 2 minutes and didn't get any crazy fouls. And I was like, oh my God, how did I just cash that ticket? It was deader than a doornail. And I got really lucky. So that is my concern there, Drew, is that sometimes they let them play in the natty, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, all eyeballs on right now. So I'm with you. I think that's why if you need a bet on the total, the under is the better play. Like if they play it out 100 times, it's going to hit more. But, anything can happen. They go off from 3 again, like they did in the Final Four. That can happen. We do have Jay Buff chiming in to your question here, Kelly, in terms of guys on the Wager Talk YouTube channel in the chat box. Feel free to chime in. He's saying TV just said he isn't at the stadium yet, said going through treatment. So I guess it's kind of an open. We'll see what happens.
Less than 2 hours away. That's interesting.
Yeah. Hey, Kelly, I did have a question for you because you knew people going to the game and just seeing the videos, one from Portnoy and Big Cat there. The atmosphere in the game looked awesome. And we're talking about the sight lines and things and how the stadium went up. It didn't go up at like a big angle, if you will, like in a lot of NBA and NHL arenas, it goes up like this. Where this one, it seemed to go out like a long time and they were packing people in. It looked like a great atmosphere. Have you talked to anybody that was at the game and got any feedback from it?
So I actually haven't. I could send out a text real quick just to see. It's crazy because part of the reason why I didn't end up going to New Orleans is because I screwed around, waited for the announcement, and then hotel rooms went through the roof. And of course, now the Duke fans left, Villanova fans left, and tickets are like dirt cheap. And I could have went to the game for like $150 tonight. Great seats, like seats that would have been $1,000 on Saturday are like $150 tonight. So I wish that I was there. Unfortunately, I'm not, but I will send out a text to see what the people thought as far as the sight lines and stuff go. It did look great, at least sitting at home on my couch.
Yeah, no, and that's a rule of thumb, guys. I tend to know the ticket market prices, fairly well. In the Final Fours, I remember one year in Atlanta, Kelly, the Final Four is very, very expensive. The national championship game goes in like half, if not more, like you're talking about, because the two teams that lose, when they're walking out, they're like, here's my tickets. Anybody will take any type of price.
Do you blame? Like, if my team just lost in the Final Four, I wouldn't want to stay. I'd be getting on the next flight out of New Orleans. I mean, I guess I'm just a sore loser like that.
Exactly. Good stuff there, guys. We got a final episode here of the Hustle National Championship tonight. We're breaking it down from all angles. We got our going in order as we're trying to keep up with time here. We got our special guest, which is a really special guest for this show. We're bringing them in for best bets and kind of final thoughts here as we get you ready for the national championship game tonight between UNC and Kansas. Give our best bets out. But that is Joe Ranieri. You've seen him all over the Wager Talk YouTube channel, a man that has a lot of talent in this industry, both betting it, hosting it, creating content. He's also producing the show. You see the graphics back there. He's making it happen. So special shout out to Joe Ranieri for making this happen. We want to welcome him on the show to finish it out. So Joe, welcome on, buddy.
To make sure I have my microphone on. Yes, Drew, thank you very much there. Thank you for stretching it out there so we can get it all squared away. But it's a pleasure to be here with you guys. This is it. Last chance. And it sounds like poor CT is going to be sweating this one out here tonight, one way or the other. And listen, it's worth the price of admission just to hang out and watch CT sweat the game. So I'm excited to see how this goes, guys. I really am.
I don't know, CT. How big are you going to be sweating this one out, man? Is this a monster bet for you?
Yeah, well, Drew, on Saturday I did what you and I both liked, right? I put a huge bet in on Kansas at plus 160 to win it all. Have a couple shekels on them pre-tournament at 13-1. So Joe and I were talking before, and I'm invested now. I don't think there's any turning back, but I'm going to wish I was watching the game with Joe at the Westgate, screaming at the top of our lungs, having a bunch of Vivas. We got along very well, and I love grinding out games with Joe. And so glad he's on right now. We appreciate everything you've done for us all season long, Joe. Much appreciated.
You guys rock, man. I mean, it's time to make some money here tonight. We only got one game left to make up all the losses during the year. So, I mean, let's get it going, right?
Thanks for putting it that way, Joe. Yeah, just chase. Just go bet it all.
Go big, go home.
That's terrible.
Go big or go home.
Gotta
Absolutely.
go big or go
He's right.
home.
This gets to be my last loss of this college basketball season. That is the bright side. I cannot lose another college basketball game this year.
Well, Joe, I know you do the college basketball show. Great show on Wager Talk, guys. Also the NBA show as well. Joe, keeping in mind we got best bets at the end, did you want to throw out anything about tonight's game, how you think it plays out, the atmosphere, what bettors should be looking for?
Well, there is one prop that I would consider, and it sounds like we got a lot of Kansas love going on. And if I'm going Kansas, and that Baycott injury is absolutely huge. I think it's a great live betting game from the standpoint that I don't think it's going to take us very long to see how hurt he really is and how effective he's going to be. But you got to look at all the McCormick props here, guys. His point prop is 10.5. And if Baycott is hurt in the lead, I mean, they allowed 48 points in the paint against Duke, did North Carolina, and that was with Baycott healthy. So I think McCormick is going to have a huge game in the middle there. And I think if Baycott is 50%, 60%, gets into foul trouble because of McCormick, you got to be on every prop that involves him in this matchup, because I think he's easy cash here tonight. I think he's going to dominate in the middle, in the paint in this game. So keep an eye on the McCormick props. Rebounds, I think it was 7.5. I would go over there. I'd go over his points. If I'm back in Kansas, I'm back in McCormick to have a huge night this one.
Yeah, it looks like currently minus 145 for over 12.5 points, Joe, plus 115, over 7.5 rebounds, even money. I think you're right there. I might sprinkle a little bit on both of those.
Yeah. Gotta go.
Yeah, Joe, I agree with you on that. And Kel, is it 12.5 now? Before we went on, I have McCormick written down over 11.5 points. I know it's easy to say now because he did just play the best game of his probably career on Saturday. He had 25 points and 9 boards. But I'm with you, Joe, on that one. I think we're getting a nice discount price, and I don't think McCormick's going to come in and shit the bed after what he did on Saturday. I think he's going to be very valuable and very important to this Kansas Jayhawks win tonight.
Yeah.
I want to throw one thing out in support of that. They didn't use him against Miami early on. And really in that game in general, they just kind of, it was weird. They, for whatever reason, they just did not get him the ball. I think it was a big reason why they went into the half down 6. So maybe he's a little undervalued, because had they actually got him the ball against Miami, I think he would have probably had a much better game. Then he comes out, they do use him against Nova, and he crushes it. So I agree. I would look Baycott under too. I think the injury is a big deal. It's a huge part of my handicap. So Baycott under, McCormick over, Kansas -4. There it is.
Oh.
Ready to rock from Adam Trigger, Top Flight SI on Twitter. Guys, we got time for best bets here. A reminder, we are brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer. Come into a store near you. You can also order it online, www.vivatequilaseltzer.com. Coupon code HUSTLE at checkout. That's HUSTLE at checkout. Hustle at checkout takes 10% off. Guys, Viva is very good. Our flavors pair perfectly with our Artisanal Blanco tequila for subtle and refreshing drinks. Best bet time. Last best bet, I think Kansas plus 180. Gave it out on the college basketball show as well with Joe Ranieri. That was a future going into the Final Four. That's what I'm riding personally, guys. And now I'm looking at this game. I'm seeing UNC plus the points. I'm going to hedge a little bit back on that. Not fully, but try to get that middle where if Kansas wins wins the game, but less than 4, you can win both bets. That's called a middle in this business. That's what I'm going for, but I'm going to keep more on the Kansas plus 160. I think I said plus 180. I think it was plus 160 that I'm riding, but I can't really give that out as a best bet, a hedge. So I'm going to go best bet a little bit off the radar, going to a global book here. total times Roy Williams is shown during the broadcast.
Oof.
And
Love these.
I am going,
Oof.
the reason I got to set the stage a little bit better, I lived in Costa Rica for 2 years, and these guys that put it up, I'm telling you guys, the minimums are low. They just put it up for action. Like, these are really beatable if you kind of think about it, put your work in. And here's why I think it's beatable. Keep in mind, total times Roy Williams is shown. NCAA championship game, tip-off to final whistle, commercials and halftime do not count. So it's got to be during the game. I don't think they're going to show him all that much. I mean, he's an older guy.
What's
he
the
really
total?
What? Yeah, what's the
Two and
number?
2.5.
Ooh.
Under
Over
plus
minus what?
125.
Yeah,
Under
I was
is
going to say the
plus
over's
money.
juice for
Yeah.
sure. They want they're begging for it.
Yeah. So that's my best bet. I'm going to go
I
Roy
hope it
Williams
goes under.
plus
Yeah, if
125.
it goes under, that means it's going to be, it will be good night for us, most likely, if that goes under.
Yeah, we'll see how
I'm
it
going to
goes.
assume Roy Boyd is going to be cheering for North Carolina, which is going to be really hilarious. But I mean, he is a North Carolina grad. That is the last place that he coached. That's just an assumption of mine. But I guarantee they're going to show him at least twice. I feel like they're definitely going to show him twice, fidgeting with his mask, halfway wearing it, looking absolutely and utterly ridiculous. He will be shown at least twice. So Drew, I hope it's only twice for our sake and yours.
Exactly.
Okay. And also remember that fine print there in the bet, guys. You know, it can't be halftime, you know, only from the starting with game's got to be going. So that's what I'm going with best bet. CT Bets 16 on Twitter. Chris Thurston, where are you going for best bets? Final thoughts for the show as well.
Yeah, Drew Martin Betts, you had me on your show last night on Sports Grid TV, and we talked about this game. And my best bet, I also have that plus 160 in my pocket that you and I both bet last Saturday before the games, and I'm sticking with Kansas here, -4. I think this reminds me a lot of last year's Final Four and championship game, right? We saw Baylor cruise in the semifinals last year in the Final Four over Houston, and we had Gonzaga struggle, needed OT to beat UCLA. Very tired, right? They're coming into this game. It reminds me a lot of this UNC team. They left it all out on the floor on Saturday night. That was their Super Bowl, the biggest game they've played all year long and the best game they played all year long. I expect the Tar Heels to be gassed. I think Baycott, that injury is going to be a big factor tonight. And I think if they're able to get him into some foul trouble and he's not 100%, I think it's going to make a long night for UNC, Drew Martin Betts. I'm going with Kansas to win it all. Bill Self gets his second national championship tonight, and they cover the 4, Drew Martin Betts.
All right. CT Chalk again. Hey, 2-0 last time. Let's rock, man. What about going down the list here? We got Trig, Adam Trigger, Top Flight SI. Final thoughts for the show, buddy. And we're going to be doing USFL as well under the Hustle moniker, I believe. But either way, final thoughts for the show and best bets?
Well, first of all, Drew, I can't wait for USFL. You know me, you and I have gotten into some of these smaller leagues in the past. They're a great time. That starts April 16th. Can't wait. I think the Baycott injury is a really big deal. I just don't see how he's going to be 100% in 2 days. And if he's not 100%, McCormick should win that battle. And if McCormick wins that battle, I don't see how North Carolina wins this game. I think North Carolina, I mean, Caleb Love and RJ Davis have kind of been playing out of their minds. I think they'll need to play out of their minds again to hang around in this game. Abaji's the best player on the floor, and he really didn't start to get going in this tournament until that Miami game. Had a great game last time out. I expect another great game from him here. Listen, I mean, I hate as much as I hate to lay points, it's been working with this Kansas team. We laid it against Miami. They won easily. They crushed Villanova over the weekend. So I don't know that we'll get it as easily as we did in those 2 games, but 4 still seems a little short. I think Ken Pom made this 6. That's probably right in the range of what I would have looked at for this. So I'll call it Kansas going away at the end. We'll say Kansas by 8. I think they get it done.
All right, Kansas -4 for Trigger as well. We got Joe Ranieri, special guest producer of the Hustle, also the host of the NBA show, among a lot of other things on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Joe, throw it over to you. Final thoughts for the show. Best bets, buddy.
All right, go big or go home here, CT. Right. So in honor of you and the bet on Kansas, here's how I'm going to go with this here tonight. I think Kansas, and I think, unfortunately, Baycott's going to be toast. So I do think Kansas is not going to only win this game, but I think they're going to go above the cover here. So I'm taking Kansas money line. I'm laying the 4. I'm also taking them to win between 6 and 10 points, and I'm going to take them to lose the first half but win the full game at 6-1 in that one too. So if Kansas is winning, they're going to win here within a pretty good margin. So I'll take a money line. I'll lay the 4. I'll get them 6-10, and I'll also have North Carolina to have enough momentum to win the first half but lose the full game. So I'll go across the board there and put it all together there, and we're either going to be crying or I'm on a flight to Boston tomorrow, one way or the other.
Joe, well, I got to ask you a question. Sure. Who are you going to be rooting for in the first half? You got that 6-1 ticket that they're losing in the first half and then win. So how do you watch that?
Well, we've seen, I mean, throw out Villanova. What we saw against Miami in the first half is much more consistent with what Kansas has been here this year. Very slow starting. And I think that momentum and that energy, beating Duke again, coming in, if they're going to get anything out of Bacot, it's going to be in the first half. I think as that game goes on, the better chance he has of being less effective. So give me the old Bill Self magic there where they're all scratching their heads going, where did it go wrong? And then come back in the second half and take advantage of all the edges that they have, which includes being a much better perimeter defense than what they faced in Villanova. So in Duke, rather. So I think threes are going to be harder to come by here tonight for North Carolina as this game goes on.
I like it. Joe Ranieri, great analysis as well. We got Kelly Stewart on Twitter at Kelly in Vegas, host of Bet On It, host of Money Shots. So on WagerTalk YouTube, also at Barstool Sports. Kelly, where we got for best bets? Final thoughts.
The last time KU did not cover a second half line, I'm not talking about first half because I wasn't paying attention, was but right after my Kansas State Wildcats when they were down 13 and they came roaring back. It was an absolute abomination. Then they lost to Baylor, of course. But right after that, basically the entire month of March, everyone wants to talk about what an impressive underdog North Carolina's been in. And by all means, I will agree with everybody. They have been on an absolute tear. They should never have been an 8 seed, and they peaked at the right time. But that right time was on Saturday against Duke. That was their Super Bowl. They got to beat Duke twice in a year, and that was a game that everybody thought they were going to lose. I did not. Drew Martin Betts did not. Congratulations, Drew Martin Betts. Thank you for telling me to bet that money line because I did, and that was my saving grace on Saturday. But I think that's all she wrote for the 8 seed Cinderella. This is a KU team that I have not been impressed with all year. This is a KU team that has struggled in the first half. This is a KU team that I frankly don't think is that good. And guess what? They should still be a 6 or 7 point favorite to this North Carolina team. 4 is a short number. I hope I am not wrong here. I know a lot of people in my friends group chat, Chris, Sammy P, my boyfriend Brett, Drew Martin even hopped on board on Saturday. Our good friend Joe, a lot of people have KU futures. I'm going to be cheering for their KU futures, but I'm also going to be cheering for KU to win by 6-10 for Mr. Joe Ranieri.
Boom!
That's 6-1, losing in the first half, winning in the second half. That's a good one as well. Great analysis from Kelly Stewart. Guys, check her out all over the WagerTalk YouTube channel, Barstool Sports as well. Guys, that does it for the show, at least season 1 here for college basketball, college football, the NFL. We really appreciate everybody watching, everybody chiming in the chat box, replying below on the YouTube channel. For Adam Trigger, Joe Ranieri, Chris Thurston, Kelly Stewart, anybody got any final thoughts? Now is the time.
I got one more, Drew. I got a final thought.
Don't do it. So, don't do it. Don't do it.
What? No. Trig.
I'm going to hang up on you.
We haven't done this in a while. It's the last game, Trig. Let's give away a 4-pack of Viva. Let's come up with something. We still got an hour and 25 minutes, an hour and a half for tip-off, Trig. We're going to come out with something. We're going to give a 4-pack of Viva away. Trig will tweet it out. And also, can't thank everybody enough. When we came up with this idea, drunk this summer in my kitchen, this exceeded expectations by far. So it's been a hell of a ride, and can't wait to come back next year.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's been a definite success. Go ahead.
Every great idea starts.
I just wanted to
In
echo
a
that.
kitchen drunk in Boston? Yeah. Yeah, let me tell you.
I just wanted to like follow up what Chris said. Thank Joe and the crew for doing this for us every Wednesday night. They do an awesome job on all of our shows and make it possible. So appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, we'll definitely be back in the fall, late summer, hopefully to do it again next year. So
yeah.
So for the contest, CT Bet, should they quote this tweet, retweet it with their pick to win it against the spread, and just put like the total number of points scored in the game?
Yeah,
Would
Trick,
that be
why don't you
good?
just do it right now? We want to quote this
Good.
tweet and what? Must be following the hustle, must be following Viva. And what do you want to do, Trick and Drew?
Must be following WagerTalk, Hustle,
WagerTalk,
and Viva.
and Hustle. Love it.
Okay. You got to follow all three of those.
Yeah.
You got to retweet this tweet that we're going live on Twitter, or just retweet this, quote this one with who your pick is, either Kansas -4, UNC +4, and the total number of points scored. And if your side bet wins, who's ever the closest on the total wins the 4-pack.
That's perfect.
yeah, here's what this was my idea for the. I like that. So we'll do. You have to get the side right. You've got to get the total right, and then for the tiebreaker, highest scorer in the game. Whoever comes closest with highest score in the game. That way, we only have one winner. So
No.
if no
I
one,
want there to be like 7 winners.
What was that
So
again? Let me
boring.
write this down.
Yeah, hold on. That's getting too
Chris doesn't
confusing.
want 7 winners.
Nah, it's
I
all
don't
right.
care what Chris wants. I want 7 winners. So if everybody picks
Okay.
the same total, then that's just too bad. There is
Done.
no tiebreaker. Grapefruit's
That's
the best
fine. All right,
flavor.
so
I love you guys. I got a steak to cook. I'm not going to wait until the second half, even though I should, of the KU game.
Do it.
All right, so you
All right,
got
guys,
you got to
that
get
does
side
it.
and total, right? You got to sweep side and total. Is that it?
And total
Gotta
sweep,
pick
you
the
get a
side.
4-pack.
Side and total
Like
sweep,
that.
guys.
Perfect.
Just retweet this, quote this tweet. Check out wagertalk.com. Free live odds screen. Best free live odds in the business, by the way. All kinds of sports betting information, including free plays as well. And Viva, tequilaseltzer.com. Hustle as the promo code takes 10% off. For Kelly Stewart, Chris Thurston, Joe Ranieri, Adam Trigger, I'm Drew Martin. Best of luck with your bets. Viva.
Crush it. You're off. Yep, you're clear. Yeah.